If you struggle with speaking in public and sharing your truth with others, it's important for you to understand that your inner voice is going to be much louder than any coach you will ever have or book you will ever read about speaking in public. That's the reason why in today's video, we're going to tackle the number one truth that you need to get clear on with your inner voice so that you can speak in public with ease and confidence. Tune in. So you went on ChatGPT, it gave you a list of things to say in your meeting, and you got it all memorized, and you're ready to go ahead and say what you need to say to your boss, to your direct report, to your spouse, to your friend. And then all of a sudden, your throat starts to tighten up. Your mouth starts to get the saliva that becomes like this glue that sticks to the top of your mouth. Your hands get sweaty. And then all of a sudden, you start to kind of like feel this lightness in your head, like you're going to pass out. Anyone ever felt that? And you're just trying to find a glass of water because you just don't know what to do to get yourself out of the situation. And you start thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm saying. Just stop while you're ahead. This isn't making sense. Look at them just staring at you. And you lose all confidence. That ChatGPT script is out the door. It's the reason why so many people stop themselves. And it doesn't matter. You could have the script, but if you don't tackle the real deep issue, which is your inner voice, you'll stop yourself every single time. That's the reason why the books that you read, coaches that you hire have to work on what you believe about yourself and the inner voice that you have memorized over the years. Now, a personal story of mine. I've never struggled with speaking in public. What I struggled with was learning how to be quiet. I would rattle on and on and on because I thought that that was what people really wanted. I thought that in order to show up, be seen, and heard, I had to speak a lot because I learned that behavior. I had 5 older sisters and 1 younger brother. And so for me to be seen, heard, and valued, I would shout. I would talk a lot. I would act like I knew what I was saying, and it was annoying. It was annoying to me when I really started to look at myself, and it was annoying to others, and I didn't really believe myself. I was just talking for the sake of talking. Now, here's the key. If you struggle with speaking in public, or you just keep talking, rattle on, and you just bogart and push your way through, the root cause is still the same. It's a lack of self-worth and understanding what that voice is telling you. They're both the same. So don't get it twisted that people that speak a lot in public with nothing really to say really are being effective. The key to you speaking in public is for you to feel a sense of inner ease, for you to feel a sense of confidence that what you have to say matters. And that's what we're going to be tackling today. So, what I first want you to understand is how your body responds. You got to know when you are starting to move into these modes of self doubt because your inner voice is what's telling you some things, but I want you to physically understand what's going on inside of you. So, the first thing that I want you to know is to feel the shift, to feel that because what you're feeling when you say, I can't speak in public, was the same thing I was feeling when I would speak up in public. My mouth would get dry all the time, and I would have to take a sip of water. And this was consistent. My feelings, my body would completely react to this internal dialogue that was going on. But the way to begin to understand that it's going there is to start to recognize it. And what I would like you to have is an inner dialogue journal. And this inner dialogue journal will allow you to be able to, when you walk away from circumstances, to write down where you were at, who you were talking to, what was happening to you when you were moving into this feeling of doubt. Why is that important? Because once you begin to identify these areas, you will begin to see, okay, this is what I'm going to need to do next time. That's the first thing that I have to have you do. I'm approaching this like a doctor would approach diagnosing a problem because you can't just go out there and start talking and start doing this until you start to identify these core factors. So that's the first thing that I would begin to do is identify what happens to your body when you begin to move into this. The second thing that I really believe it's critical for you to understand is what you are saying to yourself. It's important for you to have a list of mantras, a list of affirmations that you begin to say to yourself all the time, right? Because you can start to feel this, okay, I feel this coming on and you're good. You are good. Everything is good. You know what you're saying. You have everything that you need to be able to speak your truth. Now, this is something that is not to be taken lightly. A lot of people, just kind of shoo this away like, oh, this is woo woo stuff. This is critical for you to be able to identify the inner voice because for every action, there is a reaction. What you're dealing with is law because you have to understand that you've got to come back with something. You just can't go, oh, it's just going to go away. No, you literally have to utilize these practices that are going to help you get to the other side. So it's critical for you to be able to understand that. So, what are you going to be able to say? I believe for me, myself, I always say that I am perfectly and wonderfully made. For me, I am perfectly and wonderfully made. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me. So, for me, I am wonderfully made. And when I understand that I'm like nature, I'm like the flowers that grow. There is an abundance inside of me that consistently flows. And so I'm constantly giving myself these words. And that helps me so much. It really gets me into a better position. The other thing that I do a lot, it's something that I find to be so easy. It seems crazy for you not to do it. I always think like other people are just like me. I just don't hold other people that I talk to or a direct report or anyone, I don't put them on a pedestal. I don't put anyone over me. The view that I have of other people is that we're the same. And the feelings that I'm having that might feel restrictive, other people have. That just normalizes the playing field for me. And it makes me believe that what I have to say is so valuable because it's no different than anyone else. That is a practice that will shift everything for you. And it'll allow you to be able to talk in a way that's free. You don't have to have fanciness in your dialogue, in your tone. You can just talk to people like a human. You can talk to them and feel a sense of ease. And that internal voice that you're saying, you have started to put people on pedestals. You started to put people in this like boxes. Why? You learn that behavior. That's something that's programmed deep inside of you. I've come to realize, doing social media, getting on social media and doing these things and being a real person and having these dialogues. A lot of people, how I'm talking to you right now is a lot of people will record, stop, re-record, stop, re-record, stop. Why? Because inside of their mind, they have a way in which they need to talk to you. They believe that there's some sort of manner in which they have to sound good, right? And that's performance, right? And I feel that you've got to start doing those first 3 things. First, start to realize what your body is doing. Second, get your affirmations together. Start believing and knowing and speaking truth to yourself about who you are. And then third, normalize the playing field. When you're talking to someone talking in a video, Start to think that this person that you're talking to is just like a friend, and that you can have a sense of ease. It doesn't matter whether it's your direct report, president of the United States, you know, or anyone else that you're going to be talking to. When you put people on pedestals, you feel like you have to perform, right? And some people have used, well, I am going to perform. I'm going to act this out and I'm going to do this until I feel comfortable. Okay. I feel like if that's going to help you, that's another manner in which you do that, but you do have to close the gap, right? You do have to close the gap because once you start to believe in yourself, there's no feeling that you have to put something on and you don't have to act any other way because that gets exhausting. You will be burnt out and you will stop yourself every single time. I hope that this is helpful. This is just the first step in having you begin to speak in public. This is something that a series that I'm going to be doing in our Rise 53 Inner Circle. This is the work that we do within our Rise Advocates movement. This is something this has been a lifetime of practice for me. And I don't want you to have to spend a lifetime figuring this out. This is the reason why I have spent time over the years trying to break these principles down into simple bite-sized pieces. But it does require you to practice and it does require you to put some time in. And that's the reason why I want to invite you to become a part of the Rise 53 Inner Circle. In our Rise 53 Inner Circle, we meet weekly, we have weekly coaching messages, and we talk through in our inner circle how to practice these principles. And every single week, you are being challenged to come up with ways in which you can get to your more authentic self, right? Because it's in the challenges, it's in the practices that allow you to get better. So I want to invite you to our Rise 53 Inner Circle. There's going to be a link in the caption for you to be able to learn more. And this is how we need to practice, ladies. This is how we're going to get better. This is how you're going to be able to express yourself with ease. Now, the thing is like any good fitness instruction, you're gonna go in and it might be challenging, and you're gonna see it, it's gonna be hard, your muscles are gonna get sore, but then you've gotta go back and do it again. This is how we grow, and this is how we do it. All right, my friends, thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Let's keep rising. Join the Rise 53 Inner Circle. I'll see you in the next video.